Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at the official Smash Ultimate tier list. But how is it official, you may ask? Well, this is based off entirely data and head-to-head information. So basically this is just a win percentage tier list. We're going to be looking at it. It's for all of 2022. It was made by Etossed, and then this little tier list here was made by practicalTAS. A link to both their Twitters will be in the description below. But we're going to be looking at all the tiers, seeing all the oddities, all that good stuff. Let's just get right into it. Starting off with the G tier, we have Sheik, Marth, and Lucina. So these are officially the worst characters in the game, but of course, not actually, because one of them is Marth, which is like, based. The other two are Lucina and Sheik, who are both incredible characters, and honestly, I'm really surprised that Lucina is this low, just because, like, she is just a neutral character. If you are, like, have decent fundies, you're probably gonna win. Like, she doesn't have a ton of gimmicks. Maybe that's why she's low. Like, she doesn't have anything that can, like, super win you a set if you're not better, but I'm shocked, like, she's in the G tier. And then Sheik, it makes sense because that character is really, really hard, and Sheik is really sick, so you have all these people looking at this sick Sheik gameplay, and they go, ooh, I want to do that, and they can't. And honestly, I don't blame them because I can't either. But obviously, this isn't actually how a tier list would look. But it's pretty interesting to see. Like, it makes sense for Marth. Again, very inconsistent character, very bad as well. But Sheik and Lucina being this low, especially Lucina, it's pretty surprising, honestly. In F tier, we have Sephiroth, Corrin, Roy, Jigglypuff, Byleth, Joker, and Kirby. Kirby and Jigglypuff, I just feel like aren't great characters, so it makes sense that they're down here. Maybe Jig's a little high, but Kirby makes sense. Joker and Sephiroth are just like really hard, especially Joker. Even though they're good characters, again, especially Joker, they're just like super difficult. And also, I feel like Joker might suffer from the same thing that Sheik does, probably. Roy mains. Come on, guys. Like, that character, you should be higher than F tier. I'm not going to ramble on this much longer because I've done like 30 cuts and I just ramble about how bad Roy mains are. He needs to be higher than Chrom next year, or we're canceling Ultimate. Like, I'm not kidding. And then we have Byleth and Corrin as well, who are just like pretty decent characters. Again, I thought they'd be a little higher. I feel like Swordsman in general, like, easier to play would be higher, have a good matchup spread as well, but it's nothing like too atrocious. But like, this Roy placement, like, we got to work on this, guys. Come on, everyone, we'll band together. We'll get him higher next year. Next up is E tier, which isn't as bad as the Roy and F tier, but we do have Cloud in here, we have Wolf in here, we have Aegis in here, we have Young Link in here. Those are all very good characters with very good buttons. I thought they'd all be higher, especially Cloud, just because, like, Cloud is such an oppressive character, I feel like, especially at a lower level as well. But then we also have a character like Ganon, who's very high, because, like, if you're better, your Ganon is probably just going to win. And then also lower level players are going to struggle against Ganon more because they don't know how to play patient against the matchup. They're going to get hit by more of the combos. They're going to be more scared of him in general. So shouts to Ganon for being the highest he will ever be on a tier list. And then also characters like Sora, Pikachu, Zerasu, it makes sense that they're this low just because they're very, very hard. But, like, it still surprises me that these, like, super strong neutral characters that I feel like, even that, like, super strong neutral characters that have really mashy buttons like Aegis, like Cloud, are still this low. But that is probably just because, like, a lot of people are going to play them because that kind of playstyle is super appealing. Now, the D tier is, like, the only tier on this list that makes perfect sense to me because you have characters that hit really hard, like Incin, like Little Mac. You have characters that can be inconsistent because they're either hard or have, like, bad recoveries, like Falco, like Fox, like Chrom. And then you have Rosalina Luma. That's the only one that confuses me, just because I thought it would be either way higher or way lower, because I feel like only geniuses play Rosalina and Luma, or people that play Rosalina and Luma, she's really, really hard, so they're not going to be consistent with her, but she, like, kind of middled out here, I guess, towards the lower end, but it does make sense. The character isn't great. I am surprised she's this high. I thought she'd be more, like, in the E tier, even F tier ranking, but D tier, it isn't that bad. If it's a normal tier list, then it would be atrocious, because Fox is down here, but, like, Fox can be hard. I'll give you guys a break this time. Up next is the C tier, and this tier is honestly pretty fine. There's a couple people, again, I thought would be higher, like Mario, Diddy, Yoshi. They're just, like, they have these very good strong bread and butters, but, like, they have some weaknesses as well that would make them lower. I thought, honestly, Peach would be way lower because that character is really hard. Same thing with Toon Link, because Toon Link's just not good. I thought Toon Link would be at least worse than Young Link. Like, come on. But I want to use this time to talk about matchups, because at a super top level, matchups matter a ton. But the lower the level of play gets, the less the matchups start to matter. It just becomes more player versus player, who is hitting stronger hits every single time, who's winning neutral more. And let's say it's Ganon Pikachu. At a low level, even a mid level, a Ganon can definitely upset a Pikachu player. They can win that matchup for sure because the Ganon is still going to be hitting very hard. They can still get very good reads, all that good stuff. But at a top level, let's say it's the best Pikachu player in the world versus the best Ganon in the world. If the best Ganon in the world ever wins, it is because the Pikachu player made massive mistakes. And that's why you're seeing characters that are not good, have bad matchup spreads, being very inconsistent. But then you have a character like Toon Link, who like doesn't have as much representation, so there's like I guess less matchups being played. The matchup information isn't as popular, but also at the lower level they have something very strong. The projectile game is incredible, so you're going to be able to use that to your advantage. If you have one thing that you're able to abuse at a lower level and a mid level, even a high level, that is very very important, and that's why you're seeing characters like Toon Link succeed, and like you'll see that trend throughout the rest of this video. Thought it was something I should mention. Anyway, C tier looks pretty good. Also very funny that Hero is basically in the middle because, you know, sometimes God giveth and sometimes God taketh away. Up next is the B tier, and this is where it gets a little stinky again because we have Banjo, DK, Zelda, Villager, and like kind of Lucas. I feel like Mega Man, Shulk make a lot of sense. Honestly thought they'd be lower, and then Game & Watch maybe like one spot higher, but that's probably fine for him. But Banjo, Villager, Zelda, especially Banjo and Zelda, those characters are garbage. Those characters are trash. Villager's also garbage, but just like not as garbage as the other two. But it's just like, you know, Zelda, if you can't deal with down B, you're gonna struggle a lot. Banjo, maybe Banjo players are just cracked. Wonder Wing as well, I feel like could catch a lot of people off guard, maybe not knowing how to deal with egg camping. Villager can be really annoying with like his little slingshot, and also Villager officially better than Isabelle. You heard it here first. Lucas, PK Fire, maybe people not being able to deal with it. I feel like at this point when it's the lower characters, it's less like obviously you have people being good with the characters, but it's also a lot like people don't really know how to play against these characters as much. But Donkey Kong is a character that is not this good, obviously, but like his stuff is so simple and you know what he wants at all times for both players. Like that's why like he's not higher probably, just because like you know what Donkey Kong wants. He wants to grab you. But every Donkey Kong player in the world understands, okay, I need to grab here, and if I get the grab, I probably win. So that's going to be like, okay, Donkey Kong players, they're going to start seeing a lot of success because their gimmick is so achievable at every single level. And I think that's really, really good for him. Donkey Kong, the best design character and all. You heard it here first. I think not a terrible tier. Like, we've seen worse in Roy, but like Banjo, Zelda especially, they should not be anywhere near this high. But also, those matchups aren't super common, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Up next is the A tier, and I just want to say perfect placement for Terry, Pac-Man, Samus, Ryu, maybe even Samus up one, to be honest. The rest of them, a little confusing. I thought Olimar would be a little lower because that character can be pretty difficult, but also like if you don't know how to deal with Olimar camping, you're gonna get rolled, and sometimes it can be pretty hard. Sonic is just like very hard, but also playing at Sonic is really, really hard, so I guess that makes sense. Wii Fit isn't this good, but like characters pretty rare, and their setups on the ledge can be very annoying, especially if you don't know how to deal with them. Bao Jiao, I don't know how he found his way up here, but honestly, I'm too happy for him to talk bad about it. Ice Climbers, kind of same thing as Bowser Jr. to be honest. Like the character has been seeing a renaissance lately in 2022, so I guess like a lot of people are like seeing how good this character can be. The tech is getting way better, which will always help. Do I think it'll be this high next year? Probably not. I feel like people are just gonna get way way better at the matchup, but like maybe because Ice Climber players are getting way better. Huge shouts to Ice Climber players. You guys are doing good. Like this character has some matchups that you just can't win. So for you to have a win rate this high, that's like pretty impressive. Wii Fit or not Wii Fit. Me Brawler, yeah, actually that's perfect. I think I didn't mention earlier, but Me Brawler, that's pretty fine. So like the most egregious one of this tier is probably Wii Fit or Ices, but like it isn't that bad. Again, you have to consider like how do people know how to play against the character, and the mains have like a lot of tricks. Like the bag of tricks for these characters go incredibly deep. That's probably what happens with Bowser Jr. as well. Now in the S tier, starting off with the Miis, again, there's not a lot of people playing the Mii characters in comparison to other ones, so it makes sense that they have like an average of the higher because like, hey, people that are playing Miis, they're committed to Miis. Also, matchup experience is less. Also, Gunner is okay to be this high, I guess. Like, he should be lower, but like, if Samus is this high and Gunner's just like a Samus that is worse, but people don't want to play around it and there's less of them, I suppose the sample size is smaller. But Sword Fighter, I was going to say you have to learn that matchup because Sword Fighter shouldn't be this high, but also like you probably don't actually need to learn that matchup. You probably won't have to worry about it. Ike, D3, and Luigi, they all have something that's like very, very strong that they're looking for. I guess DDD is like, he has Gordo, and if you don't know how to deal with Gordo, you're going to lose, but like Ike is Nair, Luigi is Grab. If you don't know how to deal with it, you're going to lose. Ken, same thing with like Ryu, just like people, it's hard to play around the shoulders if you don't know how. They have very, very strong combos, but also, guys, sorry, Ken is officially better than Ryu. I don't make the rules, and even though I am lying right now, that's just what the list says. And then for the final ones, or the final two I want to talk about, Palutena, I think it makes perfect sense. Like, there's probably a lot of Palutena characters, but also like the character's very strong, the neutral's very strong, the combos are insane. She's just very good, and a lot of people are playing her, so like, I'm honestly surprised she is this high. I guess Palutena players are just like pretty good now. but she's a good matchup spread. Again, character is broken, has some really strong options. Very, very good bread and butter. So it makes sense. Kazuya's weird because Kazuya at like the top level is the only time you're going to be consistently seeing people always killing with Kazuya. At the lower level, when a Kazuya hits you, you're probably not going to be taking the full combo. I am assuming that every Kazuya player in bracket knows Electric Wind God Fist. Obviously, that's not true, but let's say they hit you with Electric Wind God Fist. I feel like most Kazuya players, you're just going to hit with maybe a Nair, maybe no reset, maybe Nair into grab. You're going to be taking at most like 50-40% from a lot of these combos, right? And that's even pro Kazuya players that mess up. Now, that's still way too much for like the amount of work that you're doing, but like Kazuya is a character that I feel like as time goes on, they're going to get better because people, the Kazuya players, are just going to get better at the inputs. They're going to get better at the combos. Again, the counterplay will become better against Kazuya, but I don't know if it's going to outgrow like how broken Kazuya is as a character that can just hit you and kill you. Literally, they need to win neutral 3 times with a move that is invincible or a grab. So I think Kazuya could rise or go down. Out of every single character in this list, like that I would expect to be higher or lower, I'm unsure how to rank Kazuya. Just because like he's really, really stupid, really, really strong, but he can be harder if you don't know the combos because his neutral still isn't great. His strike killing isn't great if you don't look at the confirms. Kind of rambled a bit there, but the point is, Kazuya in the S tier, it makes sense. He could go higher or lower though. So S plus tier is definitely the most egregious tier of the entire list because we have Duck Hunt, Belmont, Rob. That's fine. We're not even going to talk about Rob because that's literally perfect. He should honestly be higher. Bayonetta, Robin, and Dr. Mario. Now, for Bayonetta, the character is good. Like, compared to the other ones, Bayo is actually pretty good. I just think they should be this high because you need to know some pretty intricate combos. Your recovery routes need to be pretty good. Your killing needs to be consistent, which can be hard at low level. That's, like, the thing that most people struggle with is, like, getting that kill all the time. And Bayo's a character that can be very difficult. But Bayo being this high, it's not that bad. But Duck Hunt, guys, Duck Hunt is garbage. Dr. Mario, garbage. Simon Belmont, he's okay, actually. That character has some sauce. Robin, very, very bad. Like, these characters are all bad. But, again, there's not as many of them, and the people that play them, they have a deep bag of tricks, except Doc. Doc, I cannot explain. The only theory that I have is that all Dr. Mario players are just incredibly raw, which is the one I'm going to go with because I like it. Because you know what? Doc is sick. Doc is funny. He could be this high. He's earned it. But the other 3, I just feel like they have such a deep bag of tricks, especially Duck Hunt and Belmont. I'm still pretty surprised about Robin here. Again, I've said this like 30 times in this video. Low character representation, you're probably going to be doing better. But Robin is just like, if you don't have Levin Sword, you're just garbage. Her bag of tricks, I guess if you don't know how to deal with arc fire stuff, you're going to be pretty screwed. Her camping is still decent, but again, it's on a resource thing. Everything with Robin is limited. It's not amazing. And then Belmont and Duck Hunt, it's just like, the characters aren't super good. Belmont's okay, but they just have like very, very good traps. Like Belmont has like incredible ledge trapping, some of, if not the best ledge trapping in the game. I don't know if the best because like Steve still exists, Sheik still exists, but like it's definitely like a top 5 ledge trapper. Belmont ledge trapping is stupid, and then Duck Hunt. I feel like all the Duck Hunt mains at this point are like hardened veterans that know all the crazy Duck Hunt combos. They're perfect with their can placements. Their down Bs are just always incredible. Their frisbee or whatever it's called is just like insane. They get these crazy combos off it, and people just don't know how to play against it. So it's like I see the ways that it can happen. Low sample size. The mains are really good. People don't know how to play against it, but it shouldn't be happening. Like, Duck Hunt should not be one of the best characters in the game. He should not be a top 10 character in terms of win rate in a game like Smash Ultimate. That is absolutely unreal. And then, I know I said I didn't want to talk about Rob, but Rob is like, yeah, that's literally perfect. Now, something we have to talk about that I talked about at the start of the video is going to be matchups, not mattering as much at the lower level. And while that is still true, matchups still do matter, especially for certain characters. I think that's why we see Ike doing very well, because if you don't know how to deal with Nair, you're going to lose. I think that's why we see Zelda doing very well. If you don't know how to deal with down B, you're going to lose. Minecraft Steve and Snake are not only really broken at a top level because of the creativity they have with the character, plus the options just being really strong. If you don't know how to deal with Snake Grenade, you're going to lose. You're just going to lose. If you can beat a Snake player with having no idea how to deal with Grenade, you're trading with Grenade every single time, you are just way better than them. And Steve, same thing. Block, if you don't know how to deal with that, you're going to struggle. Minecart, especially, a lot of people struggle with that. Down B as well. Plus, it's just him having very, very good bread and butter combos. Like, Steve and Snake are characters that can do very well at every single level of play. And there's a lot of characters here that don't do as well as every single level of play. Like Peach, I think, again, perfect character. Top level play, Peach does pretty well just because the top level Peaches are very good. But at lower level play, I imagine Peach struggles more. Rob kind of does well everywhere. I don't know why I picked him as an example, but those are just some that come to my mind. And then Snake and Steve, they flourish everywhere because either they have broken options with a lot of creativity to them, or you need to know how to deal with these certain gimmicks. And then Min Min, honestly, the same thing, except it's more just like people are you get brick walled super hard by Min Min. Like, if you don't know how to deal with arms, and a lot of things you just can't deal with arms because they're so strong. Like, a lot of characters just get bodied. Edge guarding, like Min Min can edge guard like basically every character in the game, which a lot of people don't know how to edge guard or deal with being edge guarded, so that helps out a lot. Like, Min Min is just a character that is incredibly strong, has an amazing matchup spread, so it makes sense that they're this high. S++ here. At first, when I saw Snake in here, I thought that didn't make sense. But the more I think about it, Snake just, if you don't know how to deal with Grenade, you're probably just going to lose. And not everyone knows how to deal with Grenade. And hey, that's fine. I play Snake, so please don't win a matchup because that would make it way harder for me. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, huge shout out to Etossed for all this information. This data is super cool, and he's done like a ton more stuff. Like, he has highest pick rates, he has a bunch of stuff like that. So please go check out his Twitter. He's doing a lot of good work. Same thing with practicalTAS. He's doing a lot of good work and made this tool curious for me because I didn't want to go through all of that data because my lord, there is a lot. And if there's a character that I didn't go over, please let me know down below. We can't cover everyone in the video because, like, hey, there's 80 characters in this game, and I don't want it to be too dang long. Sorry, this one was a little more rambly. The tier lists tend to be so. Hope you all enjoyed. Sport's been absolutely unreal lately, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.